Okay, Cowboys offense. We've seen them a ton this year, but I really think there's some things to look at from the past 2 weeks. And obviously, you guys were at the Tampa Bay game, but I studied that, and then obviously the Giants. There's some things you can pull from this game, especially as it relates to Dak. But one thing that I thought was important. Um, they're sixth in the league right now in third down conversions over the last, say, quarter of the season. Prior to that, they were 25th. They're 14th, so they're in the top half of the league now in red zone when they were 24th earlier in the year. Passing the last few weeks, um, they're in the top half in the league where they were 25th. They've always been in the top 10 and not turning the ball over. And if Dak weren't turning the ball over in the pocket so much early on, they'd probably be in the top of the league. The one thing they really haven't solved, they're still in the bottom third of the league in scoring. So that could eventually catch up to them. One thing that they have done too, compared to let's say the Seahawks' first game that they played, they have developed a little more of an identity. Their 11 personnel is 3/4 of the time or higher now, whereas before it was only 60%. So they're doing more of 11 and less of 12 and 21 than than they did the first time they played. Again, getting Cooper obviously helped that, just creating a little more of an identity. There's a lot to like personnel wise because Gallup is continues to improve. Um, I think Beasley's playing the best he's played, and Cooper, though he hadn't statistically done a lot the last 3 weeks, sometimes there's kind of a there's a Cooper effect, if you will, that helps the other guys. Watching Jarwin come alive the last few weeks, though those defenses struggle a little bit that they went against, and then Noah Brown, I think, can be especially in a physical game like this against Seattle. Noah Brown can help in the run, can help offset these other guys. Offensive line went healthy, very good. Obviously, that Smith and Martin both didn't play in this last game. Obviously, Elliott didn't either. But with those guys healthy, um, they're solid. They're still not the brightest group I've seen. Lyle can make mistakes. Tyron can make mistakes if you stem around, and I think they do. They still have a left guard issue. I don't care who's in there. They've got to cover for their left guard because a team like Seattle is going to try to exploit that, create as many single blocks as you can there. One thing that I think was smart they've done, they're pulling him a little bit. He's obviously Suafalo is athletic. All right. With all that being said, we've kind of roasted our man Dak throughout the course of the last 2 years, but the last 2 weeks, and even in the Colts game, if you'll remember, there was some technique things that he made. Some things that are difficult look easy. Which if you talk to the Tom House people, and when all of a sudden guys start making things look easy, that's when you know things have finally clicked with the things um, that they teach. I think there are some things you either have or you don't, but you can improve. And he was awful at these wrong foot throws. So there's improved accuracy on the move the last few weeks, and anticipation has gone way up. I talked to the people with Tom House this week. John Beck is the guy who was kind of assigned to Dak. And one thing that I learned that surprised me, was never taught in college rhythm and how timing is tied to your feet. He was always told to just in the shotgun shuffle his feet and then muscle the ball in. He's always been a muscle thrower instead of a rhythm timing thrower. And this is what they've been working on, is just looser hips. They've been working on his flexibility. They've been working on his anticipation. And obviously, that's a game winner. And I'm impressed. He came up in big moments. And again, if he does it against Seattle, because Seattle's a legit defense, our man, and I know I hear great things about him as a person and as a worker and all those things. Now he's got a chance to be successful. Look at that, is all hip flexibility, improvement. And there's the 2-point play. So that's winner go home. That's winner go home right there. Not necessarily from a playoffs perspective, but from the game. that that was a big time play. I also think they may have tweaked, and this has nothing to do with John Beck. All he works with him is technique. I think on some of these out of pocket throws, the design ones, he's reading them backside, front side. Sometimes you can just tweak a guy's read. There's a couple things I see they're doing different. He doesn't get up into the line and do all his communicating and then back and forth, back and forth. He's doing a better job communicating from the back side of the gun. Here he is scrambling to his right. Nice, relaxed, easy throw. Now, again, he's going to have to do that against a faster defense than the one he faced here. But give credit where credit is due. Again, communicating from the back end of the gun. Nice and relaxes. I don't see his head bobbing everywhere. His ball security is going to have to switch a little bit. Again, on the move to his right. And again, these guys are wide open. A lot of things I do get, but if they can come alive, the receivers did a better job coming alive, and Dak did a better job of keeping his eyes up the field, finding. Again, I don't know if they've changed the read. You basically read these things. You got your hot and the flat, then you can read it front side, back side, or back side, front side. And sometimes for a guy, some guys can't read it front side, back side. They lose vision. And he did a better job, even though you would say the front side is open. You would throw that 5 route. So he must be, or that's a blown route unless they're running 255. Interesting to see. Show you where footwork matters. And if he was never taught footwork at Mississippi State, which doesn't surprise me, you would think he'd have it by now. But watch the anticipation. He has never done this. I can't remember the last time. That ball's going. He's already anticipating that throw. Now it's an easy pre-snap, post-snap look. They tie up the mic. The arm is already started. There's a huge hole in there. I get all that. This is kind of looks like college football here to a degree, but the reality is he's never been that kind of anticipator. So I've noticed some anticipation. I got a couple throws here. Obviously, they would like to, and the same thing here. They just run 999 F seams. All this is, and the F's the bender. But the Will backer misplays this, and the mic just ridiculously bad. But again, there's some anticipation and footwork. Again, huge. If he does, like I said, if he does this coming up, this man is on his way because, I've talked, if he'd have started with these guys early on, he'd have been doing this first week of the season. This is easy, but here's the one thing that is a little tricky. Dallas, for whatever reason, their offensive line, they don't have a great understanding and protection. You've heard me say that all year long. They'll get guys coming free, even when they're going to bring 5 and have one guy free all the time. You can scheme Dallas's protections pretty easily to get a guy free. The problem you got is Dak knows that guy's free, so he's throwing hot and runs an inside fade. Runs that little 9 route, just a 19 combination up at the top. He gets an easy fade. And receivers getting some separation kind of helps all that as well. I put this in here just, again, to look at his comfort level. I think, you're talking about Seattle's a single high team, but I would be a little concerned about just showing him the coverage prior to the snap, because now look, he jacks around one time, gets a little bit confused. The corner tries to jump it, but if he can start making these just look easy, especially against single high, that's what the great ones in the league are doing. They throw those with their eyes closed. Here's another impressive throw I like. This is just now they're trying to give him a single high look. They're trying to roll over the top, and run to cover two, Tampa two, and they run a 39 combination at the top, and he hits the hole shot. And the corner's sinking pretty good. It's basically just running a form of drive concept down here. 960 F corner is all that really is, and he gets the 9 in the hole, which is good. This is just 91. This is 91 combination. Now that instead of running hitches on the outside, most people will run 9 stops. So you got 9 stops. And here again, they're giving them a little tricky buzz coverage to show him 4 weak, then going buzz strong, and he gets the seam. They play it. They don't carry the seam. Unfortunately, they showed in this game several things they hadn't done real well against the coverages Seattle's going to play. Seattle will play versions of this, and they hit those seams, and so it'd been nice for them to get a few of those. And that's Jarwin 89, just as a reminder, he's improved. Now, again, just bread and butter. This is just flank right or flex right, 0.95 F post. There's the post. If he can make these, so watch what he's doing now. All right, so he's changed his footwork. All right, so remember I've been saying all year, is he taking 2 steps? So they've got him back on odd number steps. So that right step is 1, 2, 3, throw, which is that's the footwork for F post. If he would have just rolled off that foot and gone 1, 2, he'd have been early and probably got off of it. So they've got him back on odd steps instead of even. I think we all know how important the footwork and timing is. So there you go. 1, 2, 3, throw, bang. There's your 2 and your 9, and our boy is lights out on that post. I mean, he's Beasley. He's awfully good. All right, so here they are in empty. They're just in gone protection, and so they call the tight end back in. So what they got to do is, and then the ID is the mic. As soon as the ID is the mic, that mic sees that center turn, he's coming. If the center went to block the mic, he would have dropped. But you still got to treat that like a hard call, and you got to bring everybody down. And so now they're a man short. So Dallas, for whatever reason, they do not understand protection like the teams that really know what they're doing. New Orleans being one. Those backs are unbelievable. Okay, here's your zone read, and great job by cross blocking this, down X blocking it wherever you want. They figured they would give him a keep read, and then the safety would get him, but they did a good job cracking this. This is critical for them in the playoffs. I'm not saying Dak needs to be the Baltimore Ravens running quarterback, but Lamar Jackson. But if they're going to win it all, he's going to have to come to life big time, put himself in harm's way, trying to win the game. All right, now you'll love this one. All right, so I'm gonna give you the end zone here. This will make some sense to you. And whoops. All right, so Indianapolis, what did they do? They go to Bear. They went to 2-2 eyes. They gave him all that stuff, and Dallas had no answer for these fronts to run the ball. They're looking for an over and under. Well, now they get Bear. So good news is my man comes up. They stem down to Bear. All right, he double counts it. Now he checks. So he gets in the gun. So now he's going to go counter, tray, read. So he's going to read the backside. You get 2 outside, it's automatic give. But they got an answer for Bear, and they need to have answers. This is what we said they should have been running against the Colts when they went to those 2-2 eyes. They should have been running stutter, stab, counter tray, gut and zone scissors. So it looks like they've expanded, give themselves some answers, because this is what they want to do. So now Seattle's got some fronts now. Seattle play over, under G, under 2I. They got a bunch of different looks, and my guess is they're going to stem. If they don't, they've lost their mind, because Lyle and Tyron get confused when you stem from a 3 technique to a 2I, or these guys can be confused. So they're always going to run this inside zone to that 3-man service. We've seen it all year. Here comes the backside linebacker, but watch the right tackle. When Dallas can get double teams, when they can get 2 double teams, they're dominant. And when they get a double team on the backside, it's more important than the front side, because Zeke likes to cut the ball back. So the double team in this play, everybody's front side. You know, it's 50 OP, but the B block on the backside is more important than the single block to the front side. All you got to do is cover yourself up over there. You got to get movement on the backside. Okay. This is where I think Brown can be a factor, because they're going to load the box. Seattle does a great job of loading the box, and then they can run out and cover, and they're different single high looks. So you're going to have to come down there and dig people out and try to get Zeke on the corners. Though their corners actually tackle pretty good. So lots of improvement. The key is going to be Dak's ability to continue to improve and play at the level that we've all been looking for this entire season.